This review has been approved by Lord Carnage.
Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to Classic Game Room. Do you dig Dig Dug but find it difficult to fit an entire Dig Dug machine into your pocket? If so, I recommend Dig Dug on the Game Boy Advance, which fits into your pocket, unless you have very small pockets. Namco's ultra-violent 1982 killing machine returns on your Game Boy Advance. And yes, there's 1,000,001 versions of Dig Dug out there, but this one is really good. It's good because it plays a lot like the Dig Dug arcade machine. And I could literally end the review right there because that pretty much sums it up. This is a no-frills version of Dig Dug on the Game Boy Advance, a Japanese version of the game. What I like most about it is the two-tone Game Boy Advance cartridge design. Did you guys pick that up from the beginning? Like orange and brown on an El Camino, it just looks good. But fortunately, it plays even better. Now, according to the listings on eBay at least, this appears to be in the Famicom mini-series for the Game Boy Advance. And for what it's worth, it actually plays better on the Game Boy Advance, or at least the GBA SP, than it does on the Game Boy Player for GameCube. That's what I like to call a Dig Dug killing streak right there. While it plays well enough on the GameCube, the best way to enjoy this is on the Game Boy Advance SP. The controls are perfect, the sound is really good, it looks like Dig Dug. It plays like Dig Dug. My gosh, I think it's Dig Dug. It also helps that I love this game and I love my Game Boy Advance SP, so the two great things go well together. But what if you're not familiar with Dig Dug? Well, you score points by digging dirt, you score points by killing enemies mercilessly with a bike pump, and you score big points by squashing them beneath a rock. And like Pac-Man, occasionally goodies will appear in the middle of the screen for bonus points. You can walk right through partially inflated enemies, use that to your advantage, and it starts off pretty easy, but watch out, Dig Dug gets dangerous quickly. I couldn't get any great games on the GameCube player, did much better on my Game Boy Advance SP. Well, there's a few ways to approach Dig Dug. You can try to squash everything beneath a rock for huge points, or play it safe and just attempt to stay alive, clear out enemies when you can. The food in the middle gets to be a lot of points, and the enemies get tricky because there's a whole lot of them and they chase you. It's hard for Dig Dug to kill multiple enemies at once with his bike pump. It's really only good at inflating and destroying one enemy at a time. Dig Dug does not have a railgun. Now, all that being said, you can get Dig Dug in a variety of ways out there on just about every game system imaginable. This one is bare bones, but good. It's good because it's Dig Dug. How much dig can a Dig Dug dig if a Dig Dug could dig? Well, quite a bit on the Game Boy Advance. So, yeah! A huge Classic Game Room shout out and thank you to Scott from San Jose, California. Thank you, Scott, for sending the game to the show. It rocks. It's two-tone Dig Dug excellence on your Game Boy Advance. Highly recommended.